Hey everybody, you're watching the AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for Coupled, Season 1, Episode 1, called Chemistry 101. We're going to be breaking down the episode and sharing our thoughts and predictions. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh yeah, we're bringing it back for episode number 1. Exactly, it's very tropical, it's a good vibe. Welcome back everybody, I'm your host Samantha Benitz. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Samantha_Benitz, Benitz. Of course, I'm joined by my awesome new co-host, Michael Clouse.
Hello everyone, you can follow me on Twitter at MichaelClouse.TV, I believe it's just right there, and on Instagram at TheOnlyMC. Also my Snapchat's on my Twitter and on my Instagram if you really want to see what I do on a daily basis.
All social medias, and of course Josh Rodriguez.
I'm Josh Rodriguez, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh_Rodriguez_.
So of course today we're talking about the brand new dating show on Fox, hosted by none other than Terrence J. How did you guys feel about the premiere episode?
Thought it was good. They laid the groundwork for some good drama.
Definitely.
I think it's certainly compared to The Bachelor, everything, The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, it has more of a Bachelor in Paradise feel to it. So there's obviously going to be those comparisons.
Right.
But it is different, and I think they tried to do that through the social media and the texting and try to veer off a little bit.
Right, no roses in this case. This is
No
like left or
roses.
right, kind of like Tinder.
A little Tinder action.
Yes,
Yeah.
I didn't even put that together until you said that.
Yeah, swipe left if you don't like it,
I like
right
that.
if you like it.
Yeah.
It seems more casual.
Right.
And we were talking about that in that the rose is pressure when it comes to the Bachelor series. And in this, it's, it's dating maybe even more. And we'll see. Obviously, we don't know in the 12 weeks where it's going to go, but you hope they end up together, but there's probably not going to be a marriage proposal at the end.
Yeah, we're thinking they're not going to go as seriously as far as that goes, but we'll see.
I'm actually interested to see what's going to happen like later down the road when they have to be all in the same villa at the same time, and if people are going to start switching, partners and things like that. I mean, I'm talking a little bit ahead, but
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, because you might not be thinking, clearly on your first impression, and you're just kind of thinking, oh, I'm into this person, I like the way they look, but you don't really know a lot about them until you spend more time with them.
What else would they be thinking about? The multi-million-dollar villa, the boat, or the helicopter?
You're right. There's so much to love. It's very true. So, of course, the first episode to me was all about first impressions, and we're introduced to the first eligible bachelor, Alex, who's 26 years old. He's a musician from Hermosa Beach. He looks a lot like Tony Romo.
Yes,
Very
exactly
He has that
like
football
Tono.
connection because he played wide receiver at Cal.
Right.
So,
I'm sure he's not a stranger to the comparisons.
I'm sure he's not.
no one said anything.
But
That's
it's interesting. He
No
seems
one's
down. He seems very down.
Oh,
to
he was
earth.
cool.
Yeah.
He was really cool.
I mean, he wore what? Orange pants to
Yes.
the date, and I was
Yes.
like, okay, he's very into his colorful style.
Yeah, you gotta have confidence to rock those pants.
Yeah.
You really do.
I feel like that outfit was picked out for him though, because the one girl, I forget who it was, when she came out and was like, "So you look very preppy. Is this like your average daily style?" And he was like, "Not really."
I know. I think he was a little like trying to be confident in his own, which good for you. Alex.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, so he came in on a helicopter and a speedboat, and he kind of correlated his style to James Bond or Puff Daddy with
Daddy
that
video.
entrance.
Yeah, because he's a rapper.
Yeah. I mean, well, kind of. He's like a...
He's a
What is he? A
musician.
musician.
That's what they put it as.
So I wonder what he
musician.
plays, or if he's a singer, or...
He
we'll
mentioned
probably
a
learn
band.
more.
Yeah, he said hip hop reggae.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
he
said.
mentioned a band.
He did mention a band.
That other people, and side note, and we were talking about this before the show, is I always pay attention to what they put as their occupation for these shows.
Right.
Because some are fake, some are legit, some are like real. Obviously you have an attorney. I think in this one you have a counsel abuse
Counselor, right,
therapist and counselor. And then there's like entrepreneur,
Right.
model, and you made the comment,
Yeah.
is that an Instagram model or is that an actual model?
Right, and we want to know the truth, people.
You
And
do.
of course, we're introduced to Lindsey as well, who mentioned she's a dancer, and then we
Right.
see on the little label below, sales rep. I'm like, so what's going on? But maybe she does a little bit of both. Maybe it's a hobby and also like a side career, because some people are multifaceted.
Or a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Of course.
Maybe as
let's-
a dancer, she's selling herself. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
whoa,
I'm kidding.
whoa.
I'm kidding.
Why
That
are
was
you
a
taking
joke.
shots?
Please don't take that
The
seriously.
first shot has been taken.
I know, shots fired. So, of course, Terrence allows the gentleman, or let's just say our first bachelor, to spend a couple of minutes with each woman. So how do you guys feel about that? Having just a few minutes to kind of meet, and what did you think about the scenario that they had it in?
I think it's cool. I think you can tell right away. I mean, me personally, I can tell right away if I'm into a girl or not.
Right.
So within 5 minutes having a conversation, I'm going to know if I'm into her or not. And I think girls know that too. I mean, you can speak for that. I'm not a female, so.
Oh, totally.
Do you think you can tell right away?
I mean, you can tell if you're going to have some type of interest. It may not be full force in the first few minutes, but I think down the line it can be established. But you're going to know right away. I mean, girls always say, I know within the first 5 minutes if I'm going to sleep with a guy or not. I've heard that a few times. Not me personally, but of course it exists. So
yeah. So why waste time? If you don't like them, go left. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like they choose one; they choose two. So you have a connection with two people.
Right.
You make that decision, and then you kind of move on from there. No use wasting time of the others.
Exactly. So let's go through a few of the ladies that we were introduced today. Let's start with Michelle. She's 28 years old. She was from New York, New York. We didn't see a whole lot of action with Michelle today.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
didn't
write anything with her.
Nothing memorable from what I remember.
Nope.
So we'll move on past her. We didn't really get to learn too much about her yet. So then we meet Lisa, who is 26. She's also from New York, New York. We saw her for a brief moment. I think she said no to Imari.
Yes, she said no right away.
Yeah.
It didn't really have anything that stood out to her. And that's the difference, I think, with this show is that these people could be, what if they say no to every guy?
That's
Exactly.
true. Good point.
That's a possibility.
Oh, it certainly is.
And so you're looking for dating, not necessarily looking for love, I guess. I don't know.
Right. I know. It'll be hard to say. I mean, they do appear to have 10 bachelors that are going to come on at some point throughout the series.
Right.
And then there's 12 single, smart, and young professional women.
Ooh.
So it looks like, some may end up without a romantic connection, potentially.
Yeah. A lot, actually.
Yeah. So, of course, next we're introduced to Tarisha, who goes by the name TT.
TT.
She's 26 years old. What are you going to say?
No, go ahead. I was cutting you off.
She's from Alhambra, California, and she's a Disney princess, which Michael told me,
She is,
right?
yeah. So I read an article on her. She is originally from Northern California, and then she got a job as a Disney princess and works at Disneyland.
Right.
Which, legit job, a princess. What girl doesn't want to be a princess when they grow up, Sam?
Right. I mean, all of us do. We watch those movies and we hope and aspire to be them. But
which
then we find out
princess
no.
were
Here's the
you?
thing.
Belle?
Belle?
I'm sure it's tougher for her, too, because she's surrounded by love in Disney and has to
that's
fake
true.
a relationship
my
being
gosh.
a Disney princess. And then to be single.
It's the white carriage, problem. You think it's going to come, you put on the outfit, and then there you are. So we'll see. I think she is going to end up meeting somebody. She seems like she's interested in finding love. And
Yeah.
she seems super dedicated. And then, of course, Lindsey, who I mentioned earlier, who's a sales rep / dancer.
And she goes far. She obviously goes the farthest of anyone in this episode.
Exactly.
She seems nice.
She was cool. I think she tried a little too hard.
Well,
Yeah.
she
and
mentioned.
that's why I was shocked when he picked her. It was like, when she jumped into his arms on the beach,
Yeah.
it seemed kind of forced. And for me personally as a guy, I'm like, all right, what are you doing? And I
Yeah.
thought I kind of got that vibe from him too, but I was wrong.
You gotta wonder what's going through these people's minds because they realize that they're on a show.
Yeah. Right.
They realize that there's limited time to make that first impression and then even the second and third impression.
Right.
And they want to stand out. So
Exactly.
I don't know. You
Gotta
jump
make
into,
a
jump
lasting
into that guy's
impression.
arms.
I don't blame her for trying. Especially because, we'll talk about it later, but she was being held out for a little bit and she thought that Brittney had the advantage on her.
Yeah.
Totally.
And
We're definitely going to get to
She
that.
says, too, something that I noticed about her, and we'll talk about it more as the episode goes on, but she talked that one of her maybe not failures, but like negatives about her is that she gets involved in a relationship really quickly.
Right.
Right. Jumps in
She's
too
very,
quick.
yes. And so I noticed that a little bit, and once again, we'll talk about that when we talk about the actual dates, but that is a fear of hers sometimes is that she dives in too quickly. And
Right.
you can see that she did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she mentions that she's been hurt previously, so you can tell that she's very guarded, but she did open up, with Alex for this date. So I did give her a little credit where it was due, because I figured, wow, she's being there and being attentive while he's pretty much showing all this love to Brittney, and she had to be kind of the third wheel for a second, but she held her own.
She hung
And
in
Josh
there.
predicted it. He's like, he's going to pick Lindsey, and we were both thinking Brittney.
She hung in there.
Yeah.
Perseverance.
Yes, the squeaky wheel, as they say. So, of course, then we're also introduced to Kristen, who's a photographer. She's 33 from LA.
Didn't really see much.
Yeah, didn't see much
yet.
of her. Okay,
And we'll
so we'll
see.
move on. Dominique, we saw a little bit about
She's
her. Yeah.
Dominique,
like
very
Dominique.
strong woman.
Yep.
Obviously, as an attorney, and being 29, and so someone who's 29, you're actually a fairly young attorney. I think
Yeah.
anyone who graduates college around about age of 22, you still have 4 more years of law school.
And passing the bar.
Yeah, exactly. So, strong-willed woman.
Yeah, I liked her a lot. I'm like, she's very respectable. A girl you can bring home to mom, and
Yeah.
she'd be like, hell yeah, honey. Right? And
She's
she's
the-
from Seattle.
She's the definition of strong, pretty, and professional.
Yes, she's a whole package. We like you, Dominique. So, and then, okay, our leading lady for a little bit tonight was Brittney. She's 24 from Manhattan, New York. She's a founder and CEO of a beauty company, also an entrepreneur. What do you guys think about Brittney?
I liked her a lot, actually.
I did, yeah.
I did.
Elaborate.
I mean, because when we were being introduced to the girls, in my mind, I was like, all right, which girl would I pick out? And she was the one.
Wow, so she's
really?
a hot contender tonight.
I just got a really cool, down to earth vibe from her.
Yeah, okay.
It was, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Like, she can have fun, but she can relax, and she smiles all the time.
And she's ambitious. Obviously,
Yeah,
if
ambitious.
you're starting your own company,
Yeah.
that's something that I look for in a woman. I look for someone who is ambitious.
Right.
And so to see that, I was like, good for her.
Get it, girl.
You go, girl. You go.
Yeah, and I like that. She's doing a beauty company. I mean, that's huge out there right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
especially with all these beauty gurus. I mean, you can make a mint if you're
Yeah.
doing it right and being super unique about it. So, of course, then we're introduced to a few more. We'll briefly touch over Ashley. She's 27. She's from Marco Island, Florida.
Yeah.
We didn't hear too much about
No.
her. Then we have, of course, Alyssa, who's a model. She's 32 from Sherman Oaks, California. We saw a little bit about her tonight.
She's the
first
pageant
impression.
one,
So a
right?
little bit of,
Yeah.
She asked
is-
Mara do the pageant.
Right. I believe that was her.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, she seems pretty cool. We're gonna learn more
Yeah,
about
she
her
seems
as
like
we
she's
go.
pretty fun.
I think a personal favorite tonight between our guys here was Alexandra, also known as Alex.
I knew you were going to say that.
Knew this was coming.
She,
Oh,
What did
man.
you tell me first before we even go into her?
you know,
She's going to make this show fun.
Yeah.
so she obviously, comparison, because we have to do the comparison to The Bachelor similar, because they always have the one girl that is the drama girl, and just everyone tunes in to see
Jeez.
what she will say every week.
Yeah, that's
Right.
her.
So she's the Olivia and the Ashley
Okay.
maybe from a couple of past seasons of The Bachelor, where it's like, you never know.
Right.
Loose cannon, you never know what's going to happen. And I got to say, I hate it because she's a radio personality. Olivia in the last season of The Bachelor was a television reporter, and I used to be in the media of a television reporter kind of personality, and so it sucks to see these people who are in the same field, and you're like, no, you were supposed to be the sane one.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Samantha's going to be on the next season.
Oh no!
crazy
Oh
one.
boy! Exactly. Let's hope not. So, she's a radio personality. I mean, she's boisterous. She's out there, and
She's really out there.
Yeah, she definitely says how she's feeling to everybody, but I do think she's very eager to look for love.
She is.
Even when she was introduced to Alex, I could tell she was trying to get to know him, and Amari as well. So she seems like she's definitely trying.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll give her credit in that she
Yeah.
seems like a very nice person. She's
Yeah.
just very overeager. She's very desperate, and it's a very big turnoff. Just even watching it, I can't even imagine what the guys are thinking.
I feel like she's from Louisville, so I feel like she's very almost. Louisville's not a majorly small town,
Right.
but it is Midwest. It's Kentucky,
Right.
so has that kind of feel to her a little bit. That out in the big city, out in these $1 million mansions and villas.
Yeah, she's in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
She's got to go big. So we'll keep an eye out for her this season. I think she's going to be
don't have
quite
to keep-
interesting.
There's
And
going to be
she-
a lot of eye-opening moments.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, so what did you guys think about the comment where she said she wants to live in the South and she wants to keep guns in the house?
Hey, America.
Yeah.
Second Amendment.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, of course. So then we have Alicia, who is an executive assistant. She's 29 years old from Toluca Lake, California. And she says when you start dating her, you're dating her whole family. How do you guys feel about that dynamic in a woman?
I like that.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And that's very true, too.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really take that into consideration. I mean, you have to get along with everyone in the family. It's,
Very true.
yeah.
Yeah, and that says a lot even about who they will be, future in the relationship of a mother.
Good mother, good wife.
Yes.
And
There you go.
Total
Okay.
package.
These things-
Alicia, you got the
Karen.
gold star over
Yeah.
here.
things you got to look for in a woman.
Oh, totally. Okay, and then we have Talia, who is a substance abuse counselor. You mentioned her as well. She was 27 from Lakewood, Colorado. She also looks like a good one.
Yes, I liked her.
Yeah.
I thought she was good. Yeah.
Ooh.
And even her profession, I mean, she's a substance abuse counselor, so she likes helping people.
Right.
Yep.
And I like that she was asking, you know, what have you done to improve others' lives? Like, that was her
That was a
question.
good question.
And Amari answered it very well. I think.
Yeah.
He did.
He did a great job. So, okay, let's dive into the first date where Alex decides between Brittney and Lindsey, and he has to choose by sunset. What did you guys think about the date and how they all had to go as a group of 3?
That's weird. I think it's kind of awkward. I mean, I do like that they gave him time alone. They gave time to Brittney, and then they gave time to Lindsey. But I just think it's weird. You bring 2 girls to this big house with all this space, and they didn't really show them doing anything except for walking on the beach. So
Yeah.
it was awkward.
I was trying to plan out through the entire episode of what they're saying as far as time-wise,
Right.
of how long things take. And it seemed like they have a couple days. Once they choose the first
couple
2.
days?
A
Okay.
couple days is what I heard Terrence say, is that you have you make the decision and you have a couple days. So it almost seems like they maybe spend a day with each of them.
Right.
And then you're able to make that final
Okay.
decision. By the way, we kind of forgot to mention this at the beginning. Please chime in if you're
Yes.
watching this.
Absolutely.
We'd love
Join
to
the live
hit
chat.
us up. Join us on live chat. We're gonna have that next week. I can't have it from my iPad, unfortunately. We'll have it next week. But hit
Yes.
us up on Twitter. You saw our handles, and then you can even use the handle. Let's just go ABTV Coupled.
I like
Yeah.
it.
So
That'll
reach
be
us
it.
out on there, and we definitely want to hear what you think. I mean, this is a very interactive show.
Very
Yeah.
interactive, yeah.
We
So
need
we
to hear
really
some
wanna know what
opinions.
you
Who's
think.
your top choice so
Yeah,
far?
absolutely.
Team Brittney.
Queen Brittney. He loves her. Okay. And of course, I thought the funny part was they're on this date. They're out by the sand. They're building sand castles. They're doing the whole Monty. And then he's having Lindsey take a picture of him with Brittney on his back, like
Oh,
doing the
my
piggyback
goodness.
ride. And she's like, oh, smile.
Yep.
You know, like awkward.
Yeah. That's when I thought she lost.
Yeah, that's when I thought I
Yeah.
was like, the chips are stacked against you. You're gonna have to just try a new tactic, girl,
Yeah.
to get his attention. But it seemed like she
The way that
figured it
these
out.
shows create drama,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's what keeps us coming back, obviously.
Absolutely.
clearly.
But that in the situation where he was on the date with Brittney and then has to walk by
That was hilarious.
Lindsey as if there's no back way to get materials for making sandcastles and champagne.
Exactly.
Didn't say a word.
Nothing.
Yeah. That was like so weird, and he acted like she just was a ghost. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, just gonna keep it moving.
Yeah.
And you could tell she was just sitting there like tanning while he's going on his single date with
Right.
Brittney and taking this big, long, extensive date. It seemed like she's over there texting and kind of bored, just trying to pass the time.
Yeah.
And then Brittney sends her the text like, "Me and Alex at the Via." And
Yeah.
you could tell her face is like, really?
Yes. Yeah, the group chat.
Yeah, the group chat. I'm
Yeah,
like,
That's not going to get anyone in trouble this
Yeah.
season.
Not at all.
the group chat's where it goes down in the DM, of course. So, yeah, we'll include that. Why not, right? So what did you guys think in between this? We have Terrence J thrown in the mix, and he's kind of guiding these bachelors with these eligible bachelorettes. How do you feel like he navigated the tension and kind of the nerves in order to make it a very comfortable environment for them?
I think he did it well, and something that's important to pay attention to here is this is brand new for all the contestants.
Yeah.
They
Right.
don't have previous seasons to look at and say, this is how it works.
Right.
This is, what the flow is. This is brand new, so it's important for Terrence to guide them into kind of say, this is the structure, this is the format, this is how it's going to work. And I thought he did really well.
Yeah, I felt like he made them all so much more
Very
comfortable.
Like,
Yeah.
I seem to like him a lot, which is good. And he talked to the guys like very encouragingly, and he, was very nice. I
He
don't-
amped them up.
Yeah, but he
He's
wasn't
like,
too much.
"King
He wasn't
Kong
too
in the
much though.
house." Yeah.
He wasn't too much.
I read initially
Yeah.
he did not want to be a host. He kind
Interesting.
of wanted to get away because
He said he didn't want to be a host.
He stepped
said
away
it in the
from
beginning, didn't he? He's like, I don't consider myself a host.
Yeah,
Right.
he
Yeah.
stepped away from E! News. He was,
Wanting to
three-time Emmy winner
pursue
for
acting.
E! News. He
Yeah.
wanted to pursue acting. He was going into a big role, and Mark Burnett, the show's creator, called him, and one call offered him the job over the phone on the first thing, and he's like, I knew I couldn't turn it down.
Yeah.
I knew with Mark Burnett I couldn't turn it down. And so he's kind of back in this.
Yeah.
So good for him, realizing this is just a great opportunity, a great show.
Totally. I mean, yeah, he's an Emmy award-winning producer as well, so he's working with him. And just even seeing Terrence in the past on 106 in Park, I feel like he was so awesome at hosting. I always love to still see him in that role, but of course, I'm happy for him if he wants to pursue other
And he's a
things.
good actor. I mean, the Think Like a Man franchise, those two movies were
And The Perfect Match that he just did with Paul Patton.
Yep.
So he's out there doing his thing, and I feel like he definitely brought in a good dynamic for the show, and I think he's going to definitely help it improve as it goes along. So we'll see how that goes. So what did you guys also think about Amari? Now, he's the second Bachelor that was introduced. He's a digital advertising executive from Los Angeles, California, age 29.
Again, seems like a very down-to-earth guy. We haven't had a guy who, we haven't had a guy who's like majorly full of themselves yet and just, seems like a douche.
Right.
And once again, asking the question of like, who have you helped lately? And he talks about he has a strong relationship with his family, and he tries to encourage his brothers. And he doesn't seem incredibly outgoing. He seems maybe a little more on the shy side.
Yeah, a little more of an introvert.
But still,
but he was confident.
Yeah,
But
when he
confident,
when he was asked to do the pageant, he got up and he did everything that she asked.
Yeah.
So I think he was.
and then said, "You never say never, but I will never do a pageant ever."
Oh, he did it though.
I know. I mean, yeah, props to him for doing that, because each of the girls asked him a particular question, and I feel like it was funny because one of them even asked, like, "Are you nervous?" And he's like, "Oh, I just didn't want to fall off the boat." I was like, good answer, buddy.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
He's thinking on his feet, and I feel like the girls already loved him. I mean, I saw Dominique go for him, Talia liked him a lot.
There was like 9 or 10 of them.
Yeah. I know. I was kind of surprised for both of them
Yeah.
by the way they showed the footage. It kind of looked like half were saying no and half were saying yes. And I was like, wow, both of them have the glass more full, I would say.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you have to be. If you're on a dating show, you have to take chances.
Yeah.
If you're kind of feeling the person, just go to the right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like even the way they set it up tonight with Alex, first off, the first 2 women said no.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
And I feel like they
he's gonna
really
get nobody.
I feel like they really, those 2 women almost overanalyzed the situation.
Yeah.
And
Right.
showing some of the next first interactions was like, oh my goodness, like they just did really quick.
Yeah.
And those first 2 seemed like they really grilled him and were like trying to find out a lot just in this first impression.
Right, and I feel like they have so many more opportunities ahead of them, and that's where their head is. They're like,
be.
well, if I don't
yeah.
really like this
But
guy.
when your logic is, oh, we have the same name, I
Yeah.
can't do this with our kid. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah,
Alex
she-
and Alex.
Alex Square.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
My
Alex
future's
got
gonna be terrible.
Alex
somehow.
got saved. If you have a woman like that, you don't even want to
Yeah,
go
Alex-
with
Alex
a woman
got
like that.
But that's why I like Brittney, because Brittney, I don't know if you remember, but she was kind of leaning right, and then she went, why not?
Yeah.
And she went
Yeah,
to the right.
went
I'm like, that's
for it.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
the attitude that you have to have
Yeah,
coming
and that's
into
the
a
attitude
show
that
like
guys
this.
like.
Yeah, she has to
Too,
be
so it's
true.
optimistic.
It is.
I mean, yeah. So, what do you guys think at home? Would you guys date somebody with the same name, or is that like
Absolutely.
a big time
Well, I mean,
no-no?
if there's a girl named Josh, I'd be like, all right, how'd you
Yeah,
do that?
Joshina
that's the
or
thing.
something?
If there's a girl named Michael out there.
Sam.
Michaela.
Sam. There you go.
Hey, how about you?
We're
You
gonna,
answered the question.
we're gonna spin this around.
I've actually
Oh.
dated a guy named Sam, so I wasn't opposed to it. Nothing like serious, but
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think it was the weirdest thing, but did I think that would be weird down the line? Like, yeah, Sam
would
and
it-
Sam?
What if Sam was his last name?
Yeah, like Samantha Sam.
Samantha Sam. Sam.
Good question.
This is Sam on AfterBuzz TV.
Sam.
It's very catchy. It's kind of cute, maybe. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, I like the dynamic so far on the show, and I like how they're kind of setting it up. And I didn't realize they were going to do 1 bachelor or at most 2 a show. So what do you guys think about the format?
Yeah, and watching it, and I usually pause it or check the timestamps as I'm watching a show, simply to see how much more are we going to get.
Yeah.
Where is this going to go? I'm that type of person. And so I was checking it throughout this one and realizing that there is only going to be 1, and then they set it up with the tease of who is Amari going to pick.
Right.
And so, I don't know. There's almost not, and you heard it when we were talking about the girls to begin with, you almost don't get to know everyone.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where you would draw the line for a season at a certain point.
Well, it seems like
Right.
you said there's 10 guys, right? So
There's
they're
10
going to do
guys.
10 guys, and then they're going to couple up. And I think that there's going to be maybe 3 or 4 episodes where they're all at the couple's villa or something
So
like
maybe
that.
we'll see all the
Yeah.
guys by maybe episode 5 or 6.
I was thinking
Seven,
7.
yeah.
Okay.
I feel
see
like
what
this
you're
episode.
saying.
I feel like this episode
Right.
they really had took a lot of time, and rightfully so, to explain everything and
Right.
explain how it worked. I feel like next we'll be able to see more
Right.
quicker reactions. So I would even say maybe by episode 4 we'll be able to see
Okay,
all
maybe.
10 guys, because you'll get rid of all that intro where we need to meet the girls, where we
Right.
Right.
need
Need
to do
to
all that. So
establish
it'll
all the
be
people.
So I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to work, after everyone's introduced and they're in the couples villa. I mean, they're probably going to have that episode like, here's your exes, come on down. How are you going to
That
deal
is
with this
so
situation?
true. Exactly.
there was
I
a
love him so much, and I don't know if I can get over it.
there was already a tease in a video that I watched that had a text message that said, "I think I might have made the wrong decision." Of course.
We knew that was gonna happen, though.
And someone's man's getting stolen. That's going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. I'm expecting a lot of drama this season.
Me too.
And I also would like to see more from the guys, like what they're actually looking for in a woman, because they always arrive in this big, like,
That's true.
gallivanting way, and you're not really sure of like what this guy is at his core. We're kind of just seeing this like flashy entrance, and the girls are like, ooh, ah, and fainting, yeah. And so
Is that your helicopter that you flew on it? Yes, it is.
baby. It absolutely is.
I paid it all off cash,
And I
baby.
flew it myself.
Yeah.
Oh man, but speaking, adding to the drama, let's touch on the social media, the videos, the
Right.
texting aspect. That really is what they've tried to do to set this show apart. Thoughts?
I like it. I like that they had little behind the scenes snippets, and I like that they're texting and kind of showing that on the screen as well.
Yeah, it adds to it.
Yeah, and I feel like I also was able to find out who the characters or who the bachelors and bachelorettes were because of social media. I went on Facebook and they had little, introductions for each of the women, showing a picture, and it made it a lot more interactive for fans
Right.
and anybody that's watching from home. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Good way to infuse the audience.
I think so too, and I think I like how they show the text. Those are almost private thoughts if you think about it.
Yeah.
Thoughts that
Yeah.
they're probably not going to share with other people out loud to the camera. So I like that aspect of it.
It is a product of our culture.
Absolutely.
I mean, the texting, strictly texting, and we talked about this, that this can almost ruin a relationship. And we'll get your thoughts. Do you feel like there needs to be a limit or a balance on texting? Let us know, because we'd love to hear, because I almost
discussion
feel
about
like you need to not have texting, because you
Yeah.
can't read all the nonverbals. You can't
Can't read the
overread it.
context,
Yes.
right.
And so obviously that is going to cause some drama.
Yeah.
And like the picture, what we were talking about with the picture of them in the sandcastles.
Right. Exactly.
that can
Like, look at how
only
good my life is over here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
That
doing
can
all right.
Only start drama. But I like the fact that they're taking all those videos,
Yeah.
and it kind of gives a different sense and gives mine be a more personal feel
Yes.
Yeah.
and look into what is actually going on.
And I like that they have the confessionals as well of each of the people as they're going on. You'll get the private moments with them just sitting there and kind of discussing their experience. So what did you guys think about that?
Yeah, that's pretty standard, I'd say, right?
I know, it's like reality
Yeah,
television
I like it.
protocol.
Yeah.
Right.
You pretty much have to have that.
Yeah. I mean, I like that they did that, though, because then I was able to establish who these people are a little bit more, because we were going so fast through them. It was
Right.
hard to kind of see who said yes or no
Yes.
as they're going, because sometimes
I
they
didn't
kind
like
of
that.
pass through
Yes.
it. So it seems like those characters weren't going to really have like a very pivotal role in that particular relationship.
Right.
That's kind of what I was insinuating. Do you guys feel the same?
Yeah.
Okay, simple as that. And of course, Amari's going to be our big next bachelor.
He is
for-
making that decision.
I like
episode
Amari,
2, which I'm excited to see because he's a digital advertising person. So based on his job and the fact that he appears to like Dominique and Talia, who do you
I'm
think
going to
he's
say
gonna...
Dominique and Talia, because he mentioned that he likes strong personalities.
Yeah.
And both of those women have that. I would say
Right.
Dominique is probably the strongest personality
Right.
on the show. Maybe Brittney too, obviously, because she's ambitious
Right.
and has had to, I'm sure, as a CEO, stand up to people, had to tell people her thoughts, whether they like it or not, which is certainly someone that he's looking for.
What about Alicia's the pageant, right? She's the one who did the pageant.
So
I think it was Alyssa.
Alyssa?
Alicia was the executive
Okay,
assistant.
so Alyssa,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like that in a girl who can like have fun. So depending on what type of guy he is, he might have found that as a turn on and like, wow, she seems like she's fun and
yeah, he might go for one of each.
Right.
Might go
Yeah.
for a Dominique and
right.
The fun
another end
personality.
of the spectrum.
I feel like that's what a lot of guys would do. They kind of choose the polar opposites. Like even with Brittney and Lindsey, she was saying that in the date. Like, how do you feel about the fact that she's tall and blonde and I'm
Right.
short and brunette and we're different?
That's an awkward question.
Very
Yeah.
insecure question.
Yeah,
That's how I
and
took
he
it.
was like, I just like you both.
You know, in hindsight, do you think that question turned him off?
That was what I was kind of wondering
yeah.
at this point, because it kind of sounded like she wasn't
That
sure about
can-
herself.
right.
Or,
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're on a date like that, don't talk about any other women.
yeah, it's like
You're
a job
there-
interview. You're,
You're
there
there
to
take
sell
advantage
yourself.
of your
Look
own.
good.
Yeah.
You could talk about anything, you know, you
Yeah.
want to get to know this guy better, and that's what you say.
Yeah.
It says more about you than what you could ever say about the other women.
Yeah, because something had to turn him off. If she was number one going into that matchup, I'm announcing like it's basketball. Brittney versus Lindsey. If he was feeling Brittney more,
Well,
Contender.
that's the other thing.
she had to do
Kristen,
something right to turn him off, unless Lindsey swept him off his feet.
I think it was the conversation, though. He mentioned
Yeah.
that they didn't get to a deeper level, so that bothered him, which
Right.
it was kind of good. I'm like, okay, so you're not going off of the physical, because I think
Right.
he actually did have more of a physical attraction
and he
to
mentioned
Brittney
that
initially.
she was initially
agree.
like the first one that's really stood out.
Yeah, exactly.
But good for him. You mentioned basketball. Going back to Amare,
Yes.
next week, Kristen and him both had the basketball connection.
That's
where
very
they
true.
said they
Amare.
enjoy basketball.
Yep.
He might like her, actually. I forgot they had that interaction. I forgot which one she was. She was a photographer. I did like their connection and their chemistry, actually. I felt the way they were looking at each other, and he was kind of staring in her eyes, very, like, attentive. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, he's feeling her, I think.
Absolutely. But
We'll keep our eye out.
Dominique's really feeling him, and I think he could probably tell.
Yeah.
Here's
And-
an actual question: is Dominique's personality too strong
Oh.
For him.
for certain men, it may be.
Yeah.
But I think she should keep looking, because I think she will
Yeah.
find a man who's, like,
You-
super in
absolutely.
control.
Yeah, you don't
and-
want to. You don't want to sacrifice yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, keep
Be who you
hustling.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's like
turning at
grinding.
29.
Yeah, brava. And of course, Brittney even made Amari some cookies, so maybe
Yep.
that boosted her chances.
See, now I
A
feel like
lady who can cook.
she's trying a little too
Yeah.
hard now.
But the cookies are a sweet
Yeah,
gift.
it is, but I think
Hey,
after seeing her
she-
get rejected, in my head, I went
Yeah.
straight to, okay, now she's trying a little too hard.
Right, because we've seen
Yeah.
everything.
I mean, obviously, he doesn't know that.
Here's the thing, though. You got
Yeah.
you got a successful woman who's a CEO and she can cook.
Yeah.
It's hard to turn down.
Is there
And
another one of
maybe-
those out there?
Yeah. And maybe she was just asking that question just because she felt it would be a concern for him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, but we'll see what happens. So, what do you guys think these ladies do, and the gentlemen as well, to audition for this show? Have you heard anything about that process or anything regarding a dating show?
No, I noticed that they're all from big cities. How many do we have from LA?
New York and Los Angeles.
New York and LA. Let's see. We
Let's see,
have
1, 2,
Alex is
3.
from Louisville. Teresa is from Sacramento. Now lives in LA as a Disney princess. Michelle, New York. Lisa, New York. Lindsay, Carlsbad.
Yep.
Biggest city in California. Kristen, LA. Dominique, Seattle. Brittney, Manhattan. Ashley, Marco Island. Alyssa Sherman Oaks, which is basically LA.
Yeah.
Alicia, Toluca Lake, and Lakewood, Colorado. Bigger cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they try to choose, a wide variety because you got to have the psycho in there. You got to have the Alex.
And the psycho is from Kentucky.
Yeah. They need a lot of choices, and I feel like they're taking them from all different backgrounds, from all different professions.
Yeah.
And I certainly like that. And I kind of am guessing that they had to do some sort of video audition. Like, I feel like I've seen
Right.
that with, like, the real world
Yeah.
in the past, and where you kind of
How
have to
good are
simulate
you at
something.
social media?
Show your personality in like 5 minutes, why you should be on the show, something like that.
Right. And so they each had to probably do that and say what they do. And one, of course, had to catch their eye. And I'm sure it was Alex, just because
Absolutely.
she's got that awesome personality, I will say. And I think we're going to see a lot more from her and all of them, but I'm super excited, and I hope that they kind of give us some behind the scenes down the line.
I do too. I think the fact that they're doing all those videos and even the text messages, I feel a feeling more of that content
Right.
will be online. This is a way to connect with viewers, and it's a smart way to do that.
Absolutely. They probably have a Twitter account or Instagram account,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they have Twitter and Instagram, and they've been live tweeting out kind of tonight.
There you go.
I didn't see a lot of videos on there. I'd imagine a lot of that is online simply so
Right.
they can get ad clicks
Yeah.
from
Well,
a
very
marketing
true.
perspective. And you both said that you would not go on a show like this.
I would not. Absolutely
Not for me, yeah.
Would
And
you?
Would you? Yeah, here we go.
I would go on a show more like this than I would The Bachelor. And
Why?
seeing, I mean, we asked each other that question before actually watching the show. Watching the show now, I feel like I would, because it's more dating and less
Okay.
committal of like, this is the one guy, and if
Right.
you are the one girl, and if you don't have that connection, then what?
Then that's it.
Yeah,
Right.
you have to do this one person. Where this gives you a little more choice, it's a little more dating. I think I would be more open to this. Bachelor, that way too much. I think just solo drama as everyone's going after this one person. Here, I think the girls can kind of have fun and they can be supportive of each other because they're not going after the same person.
Yeah, it's not a full competition where you have to. Yeah.
So in looking at the drama aspect there, I think there will be less. There will still be some because you're combining a whole bunch of girls trying to find love and guaranteed a heck of a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, they're on a vacation in the Caribbean, so how bad can it be?
In the Caribbean, and I find it interesting to read the articles from the bachelorettes who have written or like kind of tell all in interviews afterwards and like, oh, what is it like when you're not dating the person on the show and like what goes on behind the scenes? And they're like, it is a whole bunch of food and a whole bunch of free alcohol that is just there. And so you've seen a couple times where people have got just sloshed, and it's just, well, what do you expect? It's a beautiful island.
Exactly. I mean, that brings me back to Rock of Love back in the day when the ladies used to party. That was my show.
Way back.
Yes, a little Bret Michaels reminder for you guys. I like that. Would you guys actually stick with a woman? Say you meet somebody on this show that you really like, you have an awesome connection, but she lives across the country. Do you feel like a lot of these people are willing to take that risk and willing to do the work?
It really depends on how serious you are about finding someone you love and if you really love that person. Because if you do, then you'll do it. And that's
also something notice about this show is a lot of the people's ages, they are upper 20s, 30s, low 30s. Right. Even you have one of the guys, Ben is 36. Well, he's a later guy. Right. Xavier's 34. I mean, you're looking at the girls, 27, 29, 32, 27, 24, 30, 33. And so they're at that point where they're a little more open. You don't have the 21, the 22, the 23-year-olds.
They know what they want. If you hear the girls talk, they actually will tell you that they know what they want. Everyone was sure of what they wanted, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and they all seem established.
Right, right.
So we'll keep an eye out. But before we leave you guys, let's get into some quick news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, the girls got cozy and comfortable with each other, posing for a group selfie while enjoying weather out in the bungalows. Instagram.
So, of course, we may or may not have that image available for you at this moment, but we can pull it up, and in the meantime, we can just tell you a little bit about it. Yep. The ladies all joined together, which was super cute, because you can tell that they're pretty nervous around each other and kind of sizing each other up, which is only normal.
Right, and they took a nice attitude with, you know, getting to know each other and trying to be friendly, because I've seen shows where girls just kind of catty for the beginning.
Yeah,
I don't know if
they're like
if I was
out for
expecting
blood.
But yeah,
and that's once again you're used to going after maybe one guy. Here you have you have 10 guys,
right.
So you don't have to be as aggressive.
Right,
and I think
got choices.
I'll be interested to see if we see more rivalries.
Yeah,
we will absolutely see that.
Yeah, what we'll see. That kind of gets into a little bit of a prediction of what we'll see.
Hey.
Oh, we'll definitely been looking forward to that. And you guys can be sure to also check out these Instagram photos since they're not available on the Coupled Instagram. And of course, Terrence J's as well.
I love the lights for the predictions.
I love it.
All right, so predictions, what do you got? Obviously, the big cliffhanger is who Amari's going to choose.
I'm going to say Dominique.
And? Kristen or Talia?
Talia.
Or someone else?
Talia. Dominique and Talia.
I think that's a solid thing. I don't know. I'm trying to see from his perspective and not mine, because I would probably have picked Talia. But I think Dominique and Talia, I think both have strong personalities. But you know what? You could see a Kristen in there.
And just to add, I think he's more attracted to Talia right now, but I think once he gets to know both of them, I think he's going to be really impressed with Dominique's, you know, she's an attorney. She's beautiful. She's tall. She's smart.
She's driven.
Yeah, I think that'll overwhelm him, and I think in the end he'll choose her.
What do you got?
Okay, I'm thinking it's going to be Dominique, Talia, or Kristen. Now that you said that, I'm like, that NBA connection.
That's true.
Gotta love a girl who loves sports. Yeah. I mean, especially if you're a sports lover yourself.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely keep an eye out for that as well. Yep. So I think that's pretty much our predictions. You guys got any other tidbits you want to add in there?
I can't. Hit us up. You know, once again, this is a show where we really like to interact. Yes. And we really want to hear. You know, we'll have the live chat next week, but you know, hit us up this week. We'll have all our social media handles on the AfterBuzz Twitter page. Yep. On the Instagram, I know they already posted a picture, and so we want to interact with you guys. And this is a show where we want to hear your opinions. because we don't have all the answers.
We do not.
Shocking.
You ain't got all the answers, Sway.
95%, but there's that extra 5%.
Oh boy, so we'll keep an eye on everything for this show. We love it so far. Where can they find you guys on social media?
Me first. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh_Rodriguez_.
2 underscores. You can find me on Instagram at the Only MC, on Twitter at Michael Clouse TV. Once again, my Snapchat is on there. It's as seen on TV. If you really want to follow my life, I try to make them interesting. I'm getting more and more into Snapchat.
Klaus.
Trying.
Yeah, I'm still learning. It's okay. I have to figure out, hold down the button, and I got it, you know?
Yeah, we filters. We gotta
Exactly.
teach you that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like the filters. I've seen the dog when I'm like, I want to switch it up, do a little bit something different. But of course, once again, I'm Samantha Benitz. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Samantha_Benitz, BENITZ. You can catch us same place, same time next week. Of course, also check us out on AfterBuzzTV.com, YouTube, and iTunes. Leave us a 5-star rating and a thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Adios.
Take care.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.